Sounds simpler than juggling all the tools I have now, but you still need someone else to help you find new business, right?
Nope. They have powerful digital advertising built into the platform as well, which helps me keep my calendar full. You can get a demo of the product for free. Check out their website. See if it makes sense for your business.
Go to townsquarelocal.com for a free demo of the Townsquare Business Management Platform. Visit townsquarelocal.com. That's townsquarelocal.com.
South Jersey's official play-by-play home of the Eagles, Sixers, and Flyers.
At 0 point would I ever consider not being a fan of the team.
97.3 ESPN, WENJ, WENJ HD, Millville, Atlantic City. A Town Square media station serving all of South Jersey. This is Game Night with Josh Hennig.
It's good!
On 97.3 ESPN and the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app.
And he scored!
Now live from inside the Ocean Casino Resort Studio, here's Josh Hennig.
It is a Thursday edition of Game Night, day 2 of Eagles training camp, and the NFL is in full swing. We'll get into all that and more here on 97.3 ESPN. Josh Hennig hanging out with you, and Rob Maaddi from the Associated Press will join us coming up in less than 20 minutes from now. You guys can join the conversation at 609-403-0973. Your DMs into the 973 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank. See how I got some thoughts on the Eagles, and I get it, okay? It's only 2 days in the camp, but I think there's some specific takeaways so far as we are at this point in camp. You know, when you think about what the Eagles were last year and who they are this year, there was a specific comment made earlier today that I'm going to replay the audio of because I think it's a very, very poignant perspective. But first, let's recap what happened at Eagles training camp today. For those of you who may not have been tuned in to Mike Gill earlier on the Sports Bash here on 97.3 ESPN. When you look at the Eagles, they are in a very interesting situation, okay? They do not have all the positions on their defense set at this point. It's the opposite on offense. We know exactly who the two wide receivers are. We know exactly who the tight end is. We know who the quarterback is, the running back is. The only position that's really up in the air right now is right guard, which right now Tyler Steen is getting them the first team reps at right guard. And the only other position that's really in question is slot receiver. And frankly, whoever wins that position, I think whoever gets that job, they will get the job predicated on how the Eagles intend on using that position. Because realistically, we know that Kellen Moore historically loves to use the tight end. He is one of the highest number of targets and touchdowns every year for tight ends in the NFL. So we already know that A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith are going to get a plethora of targets, right? And we know that Dallas Goedert is going to get targets as well. But, and I say but, we don't know how many of these slot receivers are going to get. So the slot receiver may not be the position of importance that we need to focus on right now as much as we need to do about the defense. The defense has 2 clear-cut competitions going on right now, and this was confirmed by Vic Fangio to the media today. It's cornerback and it's inside linebacker. Now, cornerback is a bit of a dicey thing because it's been Keely Ringo and Isaiah Rodgers alternating that other cornerback slot on the first team defense across from Darius Slay. So the Eagles are already giving you an idea that they are not sold on the idea of Bradbury not just playing corner anymore, but even being in a cornerback competition because he has gotten most of his reps as a second team safety for the team / substitute for CJ Gardner-Johnson on certain downs. So Philadelphia is already telling you that Bradbury is on the outside looking in of this cornerback situation. And with Quinyon Mitchell getting reps on the outside corner and in the slot corner, they seem to think that of Quinyon Mitchell more as a defensive weapon than they are of him as just a outside corner. Now, part of that might be them just trying to figure it out. Vic Fangio said back in I think it was early June, he said that he plans to throw as much as he can at these guys. And then as training camp goes along, after the first couple weeks, he's going to pare down how much he's asking of them, how much he's throwing at them to get an idea of what he has and what he's working with. But it is very fair to say that the cornerback position is open for business. And I got to tell you guys, I am curious to see what direction he goes in. Fangio has a long history of going with guys who may not be the obvious pick for certain positions, certain roles in defenses. You know, whether it's Mike Peterson starting as a rookie linebacker for the Colts in 1999. You remember when he inserted Leonard Floyd as a pass rusher in 2016 with the Bears. You even go back to last year in Miami. He turned Andrew Van Ginkel into a high-level pass rusher, a guy that nobody would have thought could have been that role. But that's what he does. That's what Vic Fangio does. He finds what guys make the most sense and then works them in. The other position we need to keep an eye on defense is linebacker, because for 2 straight days now, Nakobe Dean and Zach Baum are basically rotating at inside linebacker next to Devin White. Now, I understand that in the most literal sense, Devin White is semi-competing for the inside linebacker job as well. At least that is how Fangio decided to verbalize it today to the media.
I like Zach. You know, he's a guy that's played very little inside linebacker in his career. We think he can do it. Obviously, Devin's had a career where he has done it. Nakobe, you know, has shown that he can do it in college. Really hadn't had the opportunity to do it here because his first year he was behind 2 good players, and last year he was injured. Same thing with Trotter, Ben, Orn. You know, they're all in the mix, really.
And he's just starting to name guys at that point. You know, he is trying not to give away too much, but he gave away enough, because if you pair what he said with what we saw on the field, okay, we know that it's basically Zach Baum, Nakobe Dean, and Devin White who are going to be jousting for the inside linebacker reps. And they all come to this position from 3 completely different angles, right? There are 3 completely different resumes coming into trying to steal these reps. Zach Baum, as he mentioned, is a guy who's never really played much inside linebacker, but he's a guy that they like a lot because of his athleticism and his range. And he is a guy who can blitz from the outside or the inside. So they may view him as more of a blitzing linebacker than anything else. Nakobe Dean is a guy who was an every down linebacker at Georgia, but listen, you heard Fangio say it before, that it was injuries. It was the fact that Dean was playing behind 2 really good guys a couple of years ago. He couldn't get on the field. And then you have Devin White, the former first-round pick, a guy who was a Super Bowl champion, but then was later discarded by the Tampa Bay Bucks because they didn't see the value in keeping him. So you got Baum, White, and Dean. I don't know exactly who should be the leader in the clubhouse, but I do feel comfortable saying that it really does look like it's going to be Devin White and then fill in the blank next to him. And look, Jeremiah Trotter Jr., Ben Van Sumeren, these are guys that the organization loves, and they will probably have a role on this team. But I don't necessarily think that those guys are in the conversation. I think that what you're probably going to see is Devin White and Nakobe Dean being more of the primary coverage linebackers, and then Zach Baum will be the blitzing linebacker / stop the run linebacker. Because realistically, Devin White and Nakobe Dean can both play the run. They're not bad at it, but I think that most people would agree that White and Dean are much better in coverage than Bond is. So how those guys fit in terms of, it might be a week-to-week basis. There's a chance that Fangio gets real wild with this and says, 1 week I'm going to play more Bond than Dean. Another week I'm going to play more Dean than Bond. And I think that's probably what the plan is going to be, at least after the first 2 days of observations. Over on the text board at 609-403-0973, Jeff from Ocean City asks about James Bradbury. Can he even play anymore? He was so awful last year. Vic Fangio was asked about the idea of transitioning James Bradbury from corner to safety.
The list of guys successfully transitioning from corner to safety is very small with success. There's guys that have done it, but it really wasn't what you want. And we'll see if he can do that. James has got a good feel for football, very knowledgeable, so that will help him in that transition. He's still going to play some corner for us too.
Which sounds ridiculous, because if he's still going to play corner, why are you giving Isaiah Rodgers and Keely Ringo all of the reps at corner? It sounds to me that Fangio is trying to keep Bradbury's value at a certain level so they can eventually cut him or trade him. You don't play Keely Ringo and Isaiah Rodgers at corner this much, and then Quinyon Mitchell after him, if you don't plan on not using Bradbury, right? That's at least how I look at it. So those are the two positions on the defense that we are keeping a close eye on. Which position group is a bigger concern for you, or why? Let me know at 609-403-0973. But to Jeff from Ocean City's point about Bradbury being awful last year, I'm still convinced that Bradbury was not used properly. Bradbury has historically been not a good man cover cornerback. He has always been a better zone cover corner and a press cover corner. And there were a lot of times last year that they asked James Bradbury to basically be a man cover corner, to basically handle a guy by himself on the outside. And it's not his skill set. He does not have the hip fluidity. He does not have the back pedal speed. He does not have the explosion on the turn to handle the better receivers in this league. And you look at the Eagles' schedule coming into this year, and I'm not being dismissive, okay, but the Packers game, I'm not even factoring into the conversation, because I think the Packers are a team that Matt LaFleur has done such a good job at coaching that I don't think it's the wide receivers as much as the coach who is making that offense hum. But you look at some of the matchups you have coming up this year. Week 4, you got to face Tampa again. And if Tampa is healthy, they got receivers that will cook James Bradbury in mano-a-mano coverage. Coming out of the bye, you got Cleveland. 2 weeks later, you got Cincinnati. Then you have Jacksonville, Dallas. These are teams that all have wide receivers that will cook James Bradbury in man-on-man coverage. Later in the year, Los Angeles Rams. I mean, that team will get you. So how do you handle his schedule? I think that part of the reason why Bradbury is being asked to get reps at safety is because they realize that he can only do so much. And maybe they're just too far along to ask him to do anything else. Steve from Ventnor chimes in at 609-403-0973. Says, I think that the guy this year that's going to be Fangio's version of Andrew Van Winkle is Zach Bond. Very possible. I don't doubt that. I think that what gets overlooked about Van Winkle last year was that Van Winkle was more than just a situational pass rusher. And I think that's what you have to keep in mind when it comes to a guy like Vic Fangio. Yes, he was looked at as, wow, he got 6 sacks last year. Wow, he was a disruptor. He got a lot of quarterback hits. He was getting after the quarterback. He was a disruptor. But he was way more than just a pass rusher. He was a guy that was all over the field. He was somebody who could play drop back in zone. He was someone who could rush the passer. He was someone who could create chaos defensively. I think that's more of the idea with Zach Bond. They're not looking for a pure pass rusher. They're looking for a guy who is going to be a disruptor, an agitator, someone who is such a football athlete, right? The kind of football player that not everyone can. It's that merger between football intellect and football ability that Zach Bond, they seem to think he has. And if he is their Andrew Van Winkle, then, well, two things are going to happen. One, you're going to have a deep playoff run because Bond, if he has that kind of impact, it'll be way better than we saw with the Dolphins defense last year. And number two, he's probably leaving in free agency because he's going to get a big contract just like Van Winkle did. All right. So, by the way, do we call him AVG here? Andrew Van Ginkle, do we call him AVG moving forward and just like give him an acronym? Because I got to tell you right now, if I got to say Van Ginkle every single time, I'm going to get tired of saying his name. So I just want to know, do we call him AVG? Do we call him AV Ginkle? Do we call him VG? I mean, what do we do with this guy? You guys let me know about that. But coming up on the other side, we'll talk with Rob Maaddi from the Associated Press more about the NFL as a whole. All the NFL teams are in training camp. With the latest from Rob Maaddi coming up next on 97.3 ESPN FM and a 97.3 ESPN mobile app, which is free thanks to First Bank of Seattle City.
Hey, South Jersey, this is Billy Schwein. Tune into The Locker Room every Saturday and Sunday from 10 a.m. to noon on 97.3 ESPN. Each weekend in The Locker Room, you will get passionate sports talk from a fan's perspective, along with interviews with some of the biggest names in sports. That's every Saturday and Sunday from 10 a.m. to noon in The Locker Room with me, Billy Schwein, on 97.3 ESPN and the 97.3 ESPN mobile app, because nothing could be finer than talking sports with the Schweiner.
Forget the boat trip. Cancel the cookout. It's the Matt Blatt Nissan July Blowout. Get a cooking hot deal. New Nissan Sentra SV, just $159 per month lease. Or Kicks S, just $199 per month lease. And zero security deposit.
Oh yeah, it's on at Matt Blatt Nissan.
New Nissan Rogue, 0 down and 0% financing for 36 months. Stuck in a loan or lease? AJ the Trade Man can get you released. So bring it to Matt Blatt Nissan and drive home a new Kicks S, just $199 per month. Or Sentra SV, only $159 per month lease. Both with zero security deposit, $29.99 due. Matt Blatt Nissan.com. Unapproved Tier 1 credit through NEMAC. Negative equity will be refinanced into new vehicle. Plus tax tag and 589.3. Offers can't be combined. Call 877-289-6670 or go to mattblattnissan.com for complete details. VIN RL544560 and RY282964. Central lease selling price $23,694. Kick selling price $22,944. Offer ends 8/6/2024.
It's on at Matt Blatt Nissan on the Black Horse Pike, Egg Harbor Township.
Shop the Sherwin-Williams July Summer Sale and get 35% off paints and stains from July 26th through August 5th. With prices starting at $31.84, it's the perfect time to transform your space with color. Whether you're looking to revamp your bedroom, living room, or home office, we have you covered with bold hues, soothing neutrals, and everything in between. Shop the sale online or visit your neighborhood Sherwin-Williams store. Retail sales only. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
I'm Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I learned about atrial fibrillation the hard way. My symptoms would come and go. Shortness of breath, fatigue. I kept going. Then I got so lightheaded, I couldn't. My doctor said I have AFib, so I'm about 5 times more likely to have a stroke. Other symptoms, irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain can come and go, but the risk of stroke stays. If you have symptoms, tell a doctor. Visit notimetowait.com.
Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
Mom, it's school shopping time.
On it. Ooh, Target has select supplies like crayons and glue sticks for 25 cents, plus markers for 50 cents.
Next, my new Rockstar vibe means new clothes.
Ooh, totally. These graphic tees are $6 and made to last.
And a strawberry lunch bag to match my sweet personality.
Got it. And it's only $5. Plus, get your favorite Good and Gather snacks. They're now at a new lower price.
Best team ever.
When it comes to low prices, Target has your back to school. Meet Cheryl.
Hey.
She's on vacation and lost in the moment. Unfortunately, so is her Chase debit card.
It's got to be somewhere.
Maybe she lost it at salsa night.
These skirts should have pockets.
Or maybe she lost it at Pilates.
3 and 2 and...
But she's not worried. With the Chase mobile app, she can lock her card till it turns up. Tools that help protect. One bank that puts you in control. Visit chase.com/checking. Chase, make more of what's yours.
Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC.
Powered by the all-new BetParks New Jersey Casino and Sportsbook app. BetParks.com. This is the Town Square, New Jersey Info and Weather Network.
Since the All-Star break, the Phillies bullpen has continued to struggle. I'm Nick Earnshaw with your South Jersey Sports Center and with your 97.3 ESPN question of the day. The Phillies let another one slip away late in yesterday's series finale against the Twins. With that being said, our 97.3 ESPN question of the day is, which Phillies reliever do you trust in the ninth inning right now? Let us know by texting 609-403-0973 or use the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app. For me, it's probably Jeff Hoffman. He's your best go-to guy in high-leverage situations. Right now, Jose Alvarado is struggling, so Hoffman's the guy I would trust in the ninth right now. It's clear that they need to go out and make a trade to get a back end of the bullpen type of piece. That's what needs to happen for the Phillies at the deadline. Once again, text in at 609-403-0973. Your forecast is next.
From playtime to showtime, Atlantic City always serves classic summer fun with a twist of cool. Visit AtlanticCityNJ.com to win an overnight getaway.
From the Town Square, New Jersey Info and Weather Network, I'm Chief Meteorologist Dan Zarrow. Big change on the way. Not really a cool down, but a dry down as humidity falls significantly and the air becomes more comfortable. You'll start to feel that tonight. It's clearing skies, low temperature dips to 66. Tomorrow looks fantastic, mostly sunny and dry, seasonably warm and not humid, high of 83. Sunshine this weekend, 85 Saturday, 88 on Sunday. Get weather 24/7 wherever you are. Download our free mobile app today.
97.3 ESPN has teamed up with Seize the Deal for incredible weekly offers from some fantastic local restaurants. Here's this week's big deal.
Get a $50 gift card good for use at Zion Mikamo Pizza in Sea Isle City for just $25.
Get this great deal starting Friday at 9 a.m. at SeizeTheDeal.com. Hurry, chances are this deal will sell quickly. For more info on this great deal, go to SeizeTheDeal.com.
SeizeTheDeal.com.
This is Game Night with Josh Hennig on 97.3 ESPN and the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app.
Don't forget Game Night being brought to you by Boxing Insider Promotions. The event of the summer is tomorrow night, Tropicana Atlantic City showroom, where Atlantic City's own Justin Figueroa looks to stay undefeated at junior middleweight, as well as Absegami High School graduate Bruce Sullivan Jr. are both in action, along with top-ranked heavyweight Otto Whalen. His only two losses in his career have been to Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua. All that and more as a part of a jam-packed fight card tomorrow night. Tropicana Atlantic City showroom. Tickets are on sale right now at Ticketmaster.com. Don't miss this action-packed event. It is the boxing event of the summer. Don't miss out. Tomorrow night, Tropicana Atlantic City, and I will be there on site, on location, inside the Tropicana showroom, so you can come out and watch the fights with me, Josh Hennig, tomorrow night in Atlantic City. Don't forget Ticketmaster.com to get your tickets today. Let's get back to the football. We'll check back on the text board a little bit later at 609-403-0973 in your DMs into the 973 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank. But right now, joining us on the phone, as promised, Associated Press senior NFL writer and reporter Rob Maaddi joins me on the road. He's traveling because it's training camp season. Rob, how you doing today?
What's up, Josh? I already got my first day of hot training camp yesterday in Tampa Bay with the Buccaneers and headed up north right now. So maybe I'll get a little bit of some Eagles action this weekend and see what they're up to.
Well, as long as you don't have to encounter any vomiting. Mekhi Becton was apparently he had too much of a good lunch before practice yesterday, and he had to stop a couple times during practice. Poor guy. He finally gets a chance to play because ready for this, Rob? Is there anything more Eagles than this? You covered the Eagles intimately for many years. So Landon Dickerson shows up. He has a lacerated toe. He can't practice yesterday. So Mekhi Becton says, all right, it's your turn, buddy. So Becton's out there, and he keeps having to stop playing because he ate too much before he got on the practice field.
And that is typical of what Phillies fans have been accustomed to over the years. Like, I mean, Mekhi Becton, I was excited about him a little bit, Josh, because he's a former first-round pick, 11 overall, COVID year. We know that was what it was, and it was difficult, some of those guys coming out, and things didn't work out for him with the Jets and staying healthy. And he's a big dude, man, 6'7", 360 pounds or whatever, and he can play tackle, so swinging inside a little bit and try and take Landon Dickerson's spot while, too bad. It's hot. You got to certainly make sure you eat at the right time.
Right.
But it's different for everybody's body, too. Like a body, like somebody who's 360, how much food does he need to fuel him? You know, I just like stay hydrated, get those electrolytes in you, make sure you got that, and lay off some of the food before practice.
Yeah, exactly. So hopefully Becton learned his lesson and won't be happening again the rest of the training camp. But speaking of the Eagles, Rob, I thought it was interesting because, you know, there is a lot of questions about the Eagles coming into this year. And we have heard from a lot of people, current players, former players, who have pointed to specifically last year, the coordinators were the problem. And you have a story that comes out over the weekend in the Philadelphia Inquirer where, you know, a source says that Jeffrey Lurie views Nick Sirianni as the next Andy Reid, talks about how he's a maniacal football guy. He's a studier and he's a leader. So if the coordinators are better than last year and Sirianni goes back to just being head coach Sirianni, is that the recipe for success?
It very well could be, but if he's the next Andy Reid, I hope he wins 3 Super Bowls in Philly and doesn't have to leave to win them somewhere else. That's for sure. But it was interesting to hear Nick talk about his role being different now, and he's not in the quarterback room as much, and he's got to bounce around, and he's in the linebacker room, and he's here. He even mentioned Rick Lovato and added, I don't really have too many coaching points for long snappers, but if he's now sort of the head coach CEO with Kellen Moore taking over the offense, Vic Fangio taking over the defense, I think this could be a point where, well, one, it's a make or break year for Sirianni and Jalen Hurts, certainly. But I like that possibility because I feel like sometimes head coaches who are too intimately involved with just the offense or just the defense don't often do as great of a job managing the whole team, the personalities. Teams might come out flat sometimes when they shouldn't. They may miss certain points of the other side of the ball, depending on which side of the ball is their area of expertise. So I think this has the potential to be a real positive situation for Sirianni and the Eagles in that, hey, it's Kellen Moore's offense and Nick's going to oversee everything. It's Fangio's defense and Nick's there. And now Nick can kind of be that guy who's hands-on, but hands everywhere and not hands just in the offensive department. So there's potential there for a ton of success for the Eagles. And for fans, man, I hope Jeffrey Lurie's right, and I hope Nick Sirianni is the next Andy Reid. I know he certainly, a couple of years ago when he came in and his energy and his enthusiasm and everything else and the core values and then the way he led the team to the Super Bowl, like, this is a guy that you like to root for. And I know sometimes he goes overboard with playing up the Philly, whether it's Sixers, Flyers, Phillies, whatever it may be, and all that stuff. I like the dude. I want to see him succeed.
It's funny you said that because there's still a lot of people in this area, Rob, who look at Nick Sirianni. You know, they call him a clown. They don't think he's a good enough coach. They think if he was such a great coach, then, you know, why can't he call an offense? And it's so odd because it's like, Rob, I don't hear this same energy about Dan Campbell. I don't hear this same energy. Like, I remember people talking this much trash on a head coach who went to a Super Bowl like they did with Sean McVay before he won a championship, right? Kyle Shanahan's been the 2 and he's lost. Like, I feel like there seems to be from the local and the national scene way more beef issue, whatever you want to call it, with Sirianni than with almost anybody else in the NFL.
That's a great point you make, Josh. And I think it's been from day one. Remember his opening news conference when he was getting blasted? Like, I'll tell you, I remember that vividly because he comes in, he's got his opening news conference, and it didn't go over that great. And people are already saying, like, all over radio. And I was in Philly at the time doing radio then, and people are killing him on radio, killing him on social media. And I just shared something on Twitter at the time, like, hey, this guy just came in here. It's his, I want to see him coach. He may not be the greatest speaker day one, but it doesn't impact his ability to coach. If someone reached out to me from the Eagles, called me and was like, thank you for saying that, because people are overreacting. And I feel since that moment, he hasn't gotten the respect that he deserves. And all he did was come in and he took over a losing team, went to the playoffs, then went to the Super Bowl. And I know the collapse last year was terrible, but he's a winning head coach who has been to the playoffs and a Super Bowl, and he just doesn't get that respect. Like you mentioned, Dan Campbell. And other than initially at the start, remember the kneecaps and the biting and all that stuff, and now he can do no wrong. He's a media darling, and he hasn't been to a Super Bowl. They were close last year, but they're the team. Everybody's they're like they're not the favorite in Vegas, but they're the darling to go to the Super Bowl this year. So I kind of feel like Nick just doesn't ultimately get all of the respect that he should have rightfully earned, because he's gone out there and his team has performed under his leadership. And you're right. I think there's some beef, some issues, some criticism, some overreactions, and it's not just Philly. Like you could poo-poo it and say, oh, well, that's just Philly media. That's just the Philly fans mentality. No, he gets that in national circles too as well.
Told Rob Maaddi from the Associated Press joining me here on Game Night on 97.3 ESPN at Rob Maaddi on the Twitter X platform. Speaking of the coordinators, I got to tell you, Rob, second Vic Fangio press conference today was a delight. I am looking forward to cranky old ball coach all season long. I mean, he's mad that there's an Eagles fan fest going on, telling them they can shut up over there and asking reporters to repeat their questions. He's telling the reporters, it's only day 2. What do you want me to tell you? And stuff like that. But he did give some interesting perspectives, because he did confirm, Rob, that there are 2 position groups that are up for competition, that being corner and inside linebacker. And it's interesting because if you go by what he said and you go by what's on the field, it's a 3-man tandem right now. It's White, Dean, and Bond, 3 guys who are completely different skill sets.
And I thought that Nakobe Dean, and I heard some of the comments that Howie Roseman, I believe it was, Howie talked about it, Nick yesterday too as well, about Nakobe, and he's healthy and he's raised a guy, and we've always been excited about him. Devin White's got a resume, Josh, and I know things kind of ended poorly for him in Tampa Bay, but he's got a resume. I expect him to have a nice bounce back, prove it type year. There is some interesting competition at linebacker, at corner. What are they going to do? There's an opportunity for some guys to step up now with Cooper DeJean out for, is it 3 weeks at the
3 weeks
minimum? Yeah, he's going to be down for 3 weeks. So Bradbury's he's going to do some corner. He's going to play some slot corner. He's got to learn both. So there's some interesting stuff that they're doing there. Nolan Smith Jr., it's kind of a big year, I think, for him at the strong side, the Sam linebacker spot, and Bryce Huff coming in, and he's going to play more than just a rush as a pass rusher. He's going to be an every down kind of guy in Fangio's defense, and can he make that happen? But that's a great point you bring up about the skill sets of Dean and White and who was it? Zach Bond was the other guy you mentioned?
Zach Bond. Oh, they've been talking Zach. Fangio has mentioned Zach Bond every press conference so far.
Zach Bond's he's certainly got Vic Fangio's interest for sure. So we'll see what he can do and how that plays out. I love camp competition. I think it's great. I think it gets guys prepared for the season to be ready to go week one. When you have a team that's got all their spots filled, there can be some complacency. And then it's hard to find any team that's got every spot filled. But when you pretty much are all set at 22 positions, there could be some complacency towards the end of training camp. But when you got guys in there competing for their livelihood, competing for more snaps, for playing time, making sure I think it makes camp a whole lot more interesting, more fun. It's a different dynamic, and it helps teams get more prepared for the season. So I got to catch Vic Fangio in person. So I'm going to try and make a stop at the Eagles when Fangio's set to speak to the media. See if I can't get a chuckle or a smile out of him.
I don't know if you'll get a chuckle or a smile out of him, but I'll get a chuckle out of smile out of what he has to say about your question. How about that?
That's more likely for sure.
Rob, a couple other stories around the NFL I want to ask you about. Joe Burrow. How about, what do we even do with Joe Burrow showing up? I don't know. Do you say he looks like Cody Rhodes, Eminem? That's a statement. That guy is coming off an injury, and he's making us talk about everything except for him coming off an injury.
That was smart. That was well done. It's like a veteran move out of Joe Burrow. You talk about the injuries he's had to deal with, the wrist surgery. Let me come in here looking like Eminem, or I love the Cody Rhodes comparison.
Well, did you see Cody Rhodes saw it, tweeted at him, and said, "Finish the story."
Oh, how about that? Look at that, Cody. All right. Is he a Bengals fan, or he's just rooting
He's
for
Canadian.
Joe Burrow to go out there and get the job done? Dusty Rhodes' little boy. Oh man, I love it. But that's smart, man. That's what everybody's talking about. And not only Jamar Chase cut his hair, he came in with the closely cropped look, and maybe take away from some of the contract talk, but. I'm expecting a big-time bounce-back year for Joe Burrow and the Bengals. Not going to pick him to go to Super Bowl like I did last year because that didn't work out so well for me.
Rob, when you think about the AFC North, though, it's wild that you can make an argument for all four of those teams to win the division. And I know that seems like hyperbole, but I feel like the Browns, they have as many questions as answers, especially considering they made the playoffs with 12 injured starters last year. We mentioned the Bengals and those guys coming into camp. And by the way, the Bengals lost their offensive coordinator. We'll see how that actually works out for them. And the Ravens, sure, they had Derrick Henry, but not a ton else on the offensive side of the ball. And then you have Mike Tomlin, just never seems to have a losing season, always finds ways to win.
Yeah, and of those four teams, I could see the Cleveland Browns taking a step back. And I know that Flacco came in last year and led them to the playoffs, and Stefanski was coach of the year, even though he didn't even feel he should have won the award. He thought it should have went to DeMeco Ryans. But I could see them taking a little bit of a step backward. We don't know where Deshaun Watson's health is like. Nick Chubb's kind of a mystery right now where he stands. He had a major gruesome, serious knee surgery. And although he's looked awesome on Instagram highlights and of him working out, we just don't know where he's going to be. I got to see Watson come back and be the guy who he was when they traded for him, and not the guy since then, still trying to bounce back and after the ultimate and the embarrassment and everything else that he's gone through. And Pittsburgh's going to go as Russell Wilson can take them, and Russ has got a big-time prove-it type season for himself that he's got to go through. So for me, Josh, it's still the Ravens and the Bengals are going to be the top two teams, and Baltimore is coming off that miserable disappointing finish to what was a great season for them, number one seed, and Lamar Jackson still got to deal with can't win the biggest games type kind of hanging over his head. And I know he had the situation coming in already, and people talking about him being out of shape and he can't practice and he's not this and he's not that. I think all four teams are going to be competitive. All four teams can probably have winning records, and it'll come down to Baltimore and Cincinnati in the end. I'll probably lean towards the Bengals right now, with the Ravens being right there. Wouldn't surprise me if the Steelers also get a wild card spot. And if Deshaun Watson comes in and he plays like the Texans Pro Bowl quarterback that he was, not the guy who's been trying to find his way in Cleveland, they could also be in the playoffs too. So it's got to be the toughest division, don't you think, at this point, Josh?
Oh, I don't think there is a tougher division. I think the AFC North is number one, 100% the toughest division, and everybody else is 2, 3, 4, 5 distant.
Yeah. You look at the AFC East, you can have three teams competing, but not the Patriots. You look at the NFC East, Giants and Commanders, I don't think are going to be playoff teams. I think the NFC South could be tricky. They're going to be better than they have been because they've always been the worst division for the past couple of years. I think they'll be a little bit better. I think the Panthers will be improved with Coach Canales and Bryce Young second season and Kirk Cousins in Atlanta, and some of the moves they also made should help them get better. And I think the Bucs will still be right there in the mix, and the Saints could be. But they're all, to me, when I say they could all be between 7 and 10 wins, whereas the AFC North is probably all at 9 to 12.
Very, very interesting. Rob Maaddi from the Associated Press has joined us here on Game Night on 97.3 ESPN at Rob Maaddi on the Twitter X platform. Check out all of his coverage there, and as well over at the AP. Rob, great stuff today. Appreciate you jumping on. Safe travels. Tell everybody where you're going this weekend. What do you got going on with David Akers?
Yeah, I'm coming up north, going to do an event, a little Q&A and meet and greet at the Valley Forge Baptist with David Akers, one of the all-time greatest kickers. There's still some tickets available. It's free. It's a free summer fest, so everybody can come out, have fun, fireworks, axe throwing, all that fun stuff. But if you want to do the meet and greet with David, who's just a phenomenal guy, there's still some tickets available for that, valleyforgebaptist.org/summerfest. And hey, you'll see me there too as well. So I'll say hello.
There you go. Rob will say hello too. Rob Maaddi and the Gun Show over there, right?
I appreciate that. I'm going to have some sleeves on, even though half of this event's going to be outside in the summer heat in Valley Forge. Man, I don't know what I'm going to do, Josh.
Stay hydrated. That's what you're going to do. You drink lots of water and Gatorade.
For sure. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Rob, great stuff. Safe travels. We'll talk soon.
Appreciate you, brother. Thank you. Keep up the great work.
Appreciate you. Rob Maaddi joining us here on 97.3 ESPN. Yeah, I mean, listen, man, it was so humid yesterday. Mekhi Becton couldn't keep his food down. I mean, supposedly this system is supposed to clear out and the days are supposed to be nicer coming up. But, even when you get rid of the humidity, the heat can still be there. So kind of like half a dozen, one or the other, when you live up here in the Northeast. Rob, he's been living in Florida. So it's like he's got a completely different type of heat and environment that he deals with down there. And the other thing is Valley Forge is deep on the inland, okay? On the mainland. If you go on the island, it's a completely different, feel. That's why I love walking on the boardwalk in the summer, because it's like you're getting some fresh air and it's a lot cooler when you got the ocean breeze, basically like passing over your head than if you're having to be hundreds of miles away from the ocean and you got no ocean breeze, no relief, no nothing to take care of you. So yeah, water, electrolytes, whatever you got to do to stay hydrated. I'm not judging you. You want to go get a Prime or a Celsius or whatever. I mean, listen, whatever works, man. That's what I got to say. We'll get back to the text board. Coming up next, 609-403-0973. Your DMs into the 973 ESPN mobile app. It's free. Thanks to First Bank of Sea Isle City.
South Jersey business owners, when Eagles football returns to the airwaves this season, don't miss out. Make sure your business is a part of the Philadelphia Eagles season with Merrill Reese and Mike Quick on 97.3 ESPN. Touchdown! Every week, the NFL's most passionate fan base flocks to 97.3 ESPN Radio to listen to their favorite team, the Philadelphia Eagles. Advertising with the Eagles can help your business connect with the consumers you are trying to reach. 97.3 ESPN is the most listened to sports source in all of South Jersey. That's what makes 97.3 ESPN such a powerful station for your business's message. So this Eagles season, don't have your business sitting on the sidelines. Be a part of the Philadelphia Eagles season on 97.3 ESPN. To find out how to become a part of the 2024 Eagles season, go to townsquaresouthjersey.com to request more information.
Sometimes I struggle to get to sleep. My body stopped for the day, but my mind is still running. So I take ZQuil.
ZQuil, the world's #1 sleep aid brand, has a range of non-habit-forming products to fit you and your family's needs. Invest in a great night's sleep for the best you tomorrow.
I'm awake and ready to take on anything.
Better days start with ZQuil nights. Explore our products at ZQuil.com. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Life hack number 7. Get an iPhone 12 on Straight Talk.
Life hack.
Here's how it works. You walk into Walmart, go to the electronics section, ask for iPhone 12 with 5G and a dual camera system, and select the new Silver Unlimited plan. They'll smile because it's a good plan. You get real unlimited data, all for just $20 a month for the whole first year. Get it at Walmart or StraightTalk.com. Straight Talk. Less dollars, more sense. Taxes and fees apply. Requires activation of iPhone 12 and a new Silver Unlimited plan or higher end auto pay enrollment. $25 a month service credit applied for up to 12 months if eligibility requirements are met. For network management practices, visit StraightTalk.com.
It's time to roll out the red carpet for, well, new carpet. There's no better time than right now at the Home Depot, where the more you buy, the more you save. Save up to 10% on select special order carpet styles you love from brands you trust. And installation is included on qualifying purchases. Start your carpet project today at the Home Depot. How doers get more done. Offer valid July 11th through July 28th, 2024. Receive up to 10% off select special order carpet purchases. Minimum purchase required. Exclusions apply. For licenses, see homedepot.com/license numbers.
I juggle a lot. I'm managing constipation with belly pain from my irritable bowel syndrome with constipation, or IBS-C, with laxatives and fiber isn't enough. My doctor recommended a way to get ahead of it. Then I said yes to Linzess.
Linzess linaclotide is a prescription medicine that treats IBS-C in adults. It's not a laxative. It's a once-daily pill that helps you get ahead of your symptoms. It's proven to help you have more frequent and complete bowel movements and helps relieve overall abdominal symptoms, belly pain, discomfort, and bloating. These symptoms were studied in combination, not individually. Do not give Linzess to children less than 2. It may harm them. Do not take Linzess if you have a bowel blockage. Get immediate help if you develop unusual or severe stomach pain, especially with bloody or black stools. The most common side effect is diarrhea, sometimes severe. If it's severe, stop taking Linzess and call your doctor right away. Other side effects include gas, stomach area pain, and swelling. Talk to your doctor and learn more at linzess.com or call 1-800-LINZESS.
This radio commercial was made to convince you to stop speeding. We can't use siren sound effects on the radio, so we'll use other equally jarring sound effects to get your attention, like telling you that whether you drive a little over the speed limit or a lot, you can crash just the same. You could hurt yourself or worse, others.
I'm at the scene of the collision.
And the damage you cause will be beyond repair. See, we didn't have to use crash or siren sounds after all. Speeding catches up with you. Brought to you by NHTSA.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer, he hears things differently. To the untrained ear, everything on his shop floor might sound fine, but he can hear gears grinding or a belt slipping. So he steps in to fix the problem at hand before it gets out of hand. And he knows Grainger's got the right product he needs to get the job done, which is music to his ears. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
It's common knowledge that after age 30, our metabolism changes. We have less energy and gain weight easier. There's a way to feel better, not in years or months, but sometimes in just days.
I'm Chuck Norris. I tried everything. Working with a team of health experts, we came up with Morning Kick. Morning Kick is a revolutionary new formula that combines all my favorite supplements into one daily drink.
Morning Kick has probiotics to help you lose weight, prebiotics for digestion, superfoods for muscles and joints, and powerful anti-aging supplements. It'll will help you feel youthful, energized, and helps manage stress.
I look and feel better than I have in years.
Go to roundhouseprovisions.com, use code SUPPORT or text SUPPORT to 511-511 and claim 40% off. Roundhouseprovisions.com, code SUPPORT.
Every purchase comes with our 90-day money-back guarantee. You could be feeling these changes within just a couple of days.
Text SUPPORT to 511-511.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Tax fees may apply.
Dennis Malloy here for the Lauder, New Jersey. Feeling lucky? Well, it just got even easier to order lottery tickets online. The Lauder, New Jersey is here and raring to go with daily pick draws, local favorites like Jersey Cash 5, and multi-state record breakers like Powerball and Mega Millions. Try out the Lauder, New Jersey from home or on the go today and get 100% cash back on your first entry. 100% cash back. Just visit nj.thelotter.us. Must be 18 or older to buy a lottery ticket. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Now, more Game Night with Josh Hennig on 97.3 ESPN and on the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app powered by First Bank of Sea Isle City.
We'll be check back in on the text board at 609-403-0973 and your DMs into the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Sea Isle City. I want to remind you that this week Seize the Deal offer. Get a $50 gift certificate for just $25 to my favorite pizza place in South Jersey. That's Zia Nicolo in Sea Isle City, located in between 42nd and 43rd Streets on the boardwalk. I'm telling you guys, you will not find many places in South Jersey with even close to the quality pizza ingredients that you will find at Zia Nicolo in Sea Isle City. So for Seize the Deal this week, starting tomorrow morning at 9 a.m., you can get a gift certificate worth up to $50 for just $25. So half the price, right? Half price. How can you beat that? Zia Nicolo Pizza in Sea Isle City. The deal goes live tomorrow at seizethedeal.com. All right, a couple things before we wrap up the Power Hour known as Game Night. When we were talking with Rob about the NFL, I was reminded of a comment that was made by Aaron Rodgers. And look, I'm not going to get into a whole Aaron Rodgers thing here because I think most of us have Aaron Rodgers fatigue, right? But I got to say, Aaron Rodgers made a very, very good point. He said, Rodgers said that basically a quarter of the league every year is in the running to win. And he said typically there's 8 to 12 teams every year that can win the Super Bowl. So Mike Gill did this earlier in the Sports Bash, and I decided to do my own little exercise to figure out what are the teams and how accurate Aaron Rodgers' statement is. So I came up with 10 teams, all right? So I'm a little more than a quarter, okay? I'm probably closer to about maybe 30%, right? 33%. So I think a third of the league almost can actually win the championship. So here are the 10 teams that I think can win. And let me just give you a quick synopsis why. All right. And I'm not saying I will never tell you to bet on a team to win the championship. Okay. I always tell you guys, don't bet straight long-term winners. Get the short-term win and you have better odds of walking away with something. Okay. So I'm not telling you to bet these teams. I'm just telling you that if you're considering who is going to be there at the end of the season, I think these 10 teams are the most likely to be in that conversation. All right. Obviously, the Kansas City Chiefs, defending Super Bowl champions, you could argue their offense is going to be better this year than last year after adding Hollywood Brown. The Jets and Aaron Rodgers, if Rodgers is healthy, what's been the problem with the Jets? They haven't been healthy, right? So that's another one. The fact that Jets still 9.5 on the wins, I think is absolutely bizarre, but I'll get to another day. Baltimore Ravens, because they have two-time MVP Lamar Jackson. Cincinnati Bengals, as long as Joe Burrow is healthy. Joe Burrow is a winning football player, and he is an incredible leader for that franchise. San Francisco 49ers, they have been to 2 Super Bowls in the Kyle Shanahan era in San Francisco. I don't see why they couldn't get back there again this year, as long as they can figure out what's going on with Trent Williams and Brandon Ayuk's contracts. The Lions were right there last year. They got to the NFC Championship game. You could argue that Jared Goff has become the most efficient quarterback in all of pro football today. How can you not be impressed with the Packers? They destroyed the Cowboys last year. They almost beat the 49ers in the postseason. And if Jordan Love just keeps getting better, he's going to prove a lot of the doubters wrong. Cleveland Browns. They got to the postseason with 12 starters injured last year. If Deshaun Watson can get close to anything what he was before, and Jim Schwartz keeps coaching the way he is, that defense, that is a Super Bowl contender for sure. Houston Texans, C.J. Stroud. He has a better team around him this year. They added Joe Mixon. They added Stephon Diggs. They added Danielle Hunter to the defense. That's a better team than last year. They won a playoff game last year, too, which is crazy. Finally, the 10th team, your Philadelphia Eagles. If you answer all the what-ifs, yes, the Eagles are in the Super Bowl this year. That's simple. I'm Josh Hennig. This is Game Night. I'll catch you tomorrow.
You have the choice, whether it's going out to dinner or ordering takeout at a local restaurant or buying that new outfit from a local boutique. Those choices help to put money back into your community. Town Square Media South Jersey proudly puts a spotlight on local businesses.
Smokers Haven. Visit smokershavennj.com for a full line of fine tobacco and accessories. Dr. Lyle M. Back. For everything from skincare to cosmetic surgery, go to ilovelylback.com. Kindle Auto Plaza, the area's best selection of Ford, Lincoln, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, and Wagoneer. Off exit 10 on the Parkway on Stone Harbor Boulevard. Call 609-465-5000 or KindleAutoplaza.com. Philly Marble and the Philly Marble and Tile Outlet, Philadelphia Avenue and Route 30 in Egg Harbor City. Visit phillymarble.com. And Ambient Comfort Heating and Cooling Professionals, AmbientComfortNJ.com.
Thank you for supporting your local businesses from Town Square Media South Jersey.